Secretary Blinken made it clear that we don't believe Evan should have been picked up, that journalism is not a crime, and that he ought to be released immediately.
That's National Security Council Coordinator John Kirby talking about the Wall Street Journal reporter who's jailed in Russia. Earlier on Vargas reports, Evan Gershkovich faces 20 years in prison. The Russians accuse him of spying, but the paper says he was on assignment. He wrote several articles criticizing Putin's leadership. Of course, the Russians have also wrongfully detained several Americans, including Paul Whelan, who's been held there for more than 1,500 days on the same bogus espionage charges. Paul's brother, David, is with us now. Would it be better to call your brother and Evan and others who have been held by the Russians as hostages rather than prisoners?
Well, I think hostage is an appropriate term, yes.
Give me a sense. There's this sort of enormous renewed spotlight on what the Russians are doing and why and how they're doing it. But yet it doesn't seem as though they've changed their ways. If anything, they become more emboldened. Is this make things more or less hopeful for you?
I'm not sure it changes it. I think we're a little bit concerned that the U.S. government hasn't been able to deter this sort of wrongful detention, this sort of arbitrary detention. I think we'd hope that maybe Paul would be one of the last people to have it happen, but obviously the Kremlin is continuing to do it.
You heard John Kirby earlier talking about Secretary Blinken's call with Sergey Lavrov in this discussion about, hey, give him back, essentially. And we know that similar discussions have happened about your brother, basically saying, give him back. And the Russians have said, thanks, but no, and in fact have taken yet another American. Is it time to change tactics?
Well, I think that the U.S. government has changed tactics over the last 4 years and 3 months that Paul has been in detention. The first 2 years, they really weren't doing anything to engage or to deter wrongful detentions. I think in the last 2 years, particularly, we've seen a much more aggressive stance and the State Department appearing to try different alternatives to bring Americans home. They were successful twice last year. And I think we're hopeful that they will come up with some other creative solutions, but it still may not be enough. They still need to get ahead of the game. I think the Kremlin is still ahead. They are willing to do things that the U.S. government isn't willing to do.
Yeah, there's no question about that. In that sense, is it time that we start not looking at the Russians as the Russians post-Cold War, but the Russians as a new Cold War, Vladimir Putin not as a president, but as something much more like the old Soviet premier in the Brezhnev or Khrushchev vein?
I'm not sure it's a time era. It is more like they're thugs. And if you're dealing with a crime family, you need to be able to respond to them. So to the extent that the U.S. is lagging when the Kremlin is acting, I think the U.S. needs to get ahead of that game.
Just on a personal sense, have you had a chance to talk to Evan's family and given him any advice or thoughts?
As I understand it, his family has reached out and maybe speaking to my sister.
Any advice, thoughts you'd give him?
Well, I think if he has to go through what Paul has gone through and if his family has to go through what our family's gone through, they've got at least 18 months of hearings and time wasted. I hope he is resilient. I hope they have the resources to sustain it.
He's in Lubyanka prison right now. Your brother's been there in prison for 1,557 days. As we know, I said it to you in the break. I'll say it again as somebody who's been in dangerous places. The knowledge that your family would fight for you and is fighting for you is something that keeps you going. And I know your brother's grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.